Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.
Welcome to all.
History is made of stories.
In this episode, we'll be looking at the link between skills and motivation.
To be good at your job, you need to be motivated and you need the right skills, all wrapped up in a can-do attitude. It goes beyond skills alone, of course. You also need the resources to do the job.
Motivation and skills are key ingredients in the recipe for success.
The connection between motivation and skills is a bit like the tango when it comes to success. It takes two. What's the story?
When you take on a new assignment or a new job, you need to find your footing. You need to get your bearings. You're just starting out, so you don't have it all dialed in. You won't have all the necessary skills. You need time to grow in the job.
Yes, but you're totally motivated. It's all new, and you throw yourself into it. 100%. You're motivated, but you don't have a complete skill set.
So, you size up the job. You get to grips with it. And, because you're motivated, you put in the effort. You grow in the job, you get your bearings, you train and you learn by doing.
And because you put in the effort to learn, you get better and better at what you do, until the day you have a full quiver of skills. Maybe even more than you need for the position you're in, because you're surpassing expectations.
That sense of progression is a popular way of evaluating an employee as they go from starting out and growing in a job, to becoming proficient and excelling in the position.
So, you have all the skills you need and you're still motivated. Skilled and motivated. You have everything it takes to be good at your job.
The trouble is, that's where the lethargy creeps in. It's a crucial juncture, right when you have the skills and are still motivated.
Either you find an opportunity to fan the fire of your motivation, or you let the lethargy slowly seep in. And it always happens faster than you think. If your manager or your HR department hasn't offered you a new opportunity, career prospect or assignment, then your motivation will ebb away.
It's that tipping point between the virtuous circle that begins to grow when you start a new cycle of motivation and skills development, and the vicious circle that casts its shadow when new opportunities fail to emerge.
That's where the trouble starts. When that vicious circle begins to form, your motivation fades because you're lacking new opportunities. You might have the necessary skills. You might even be recognized as an expert in your field, but your motivation will slowly slip away.
To the point where you're really sick of what you're doing, everything becomes routine, and that everyday routine can quickly turn a dream job into a nightmare. When your motivation hits rock bottom, it's tough to bounce back.
You're skilled but demotivated. You let yourself go. You're no longer interested in progressing, learning, or recharging your batteries. Your skill set slowly shrinks.
It's not that you can't do your job anymore. It's just that you're no longer on the cutting edge. You're not looking for the best way to do things. You're not trying to adapt them to a changing environment, and, in many cases, a changing profession.
The trouble is, at this rate, once you're on that slippery slope, you'll soon fall behind, because you're not keeping up to date. You're fueling your inner fire. You're not recharging your batteries. And we know what happens next.
One day, you find yourself totally demotivated and ill-equipped to do the job, disillusioned and behind the curve.
The worst thing is, by the time that happens, you're often the last to know. And when you're in that kind of situation, the outcome is clear.
You're back to square one, but not in a good way.
Our example might be blown a bit out of proportion, but it shows the importance of understanding specific situations, knowing what motivates people, and taking the right steps before it's too late.
By ensuring these things get the attention they deserve, by focusing on that key turning point we mentioned, when an employee who is skilled and motivated risks growing tired of their job, we can maintain momentum and cultivate that virtuous circle in which enthusiasm, hunger, and motivation naturally come together to drive progress.
To recap, a person's motivation in a given job is key to their skills development. We need to fuel that fire by offering new opportunities when people start to grow tired of what they're doing. If not, they might soon find themselves on that slippery slope of dwindling motivation that blunts their skills and abilities. Is that right?
Exactly right. Way to make a long story short.
Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.